So welcome into a special edition, 2021 draft edition of the Barbershop. I got a special guest, man. You probably heard this guy on 92.3 The Fan with me. We have him on, he's been on a lot of times on The Fan. One of the guys who's really one of the go-to dudes in the community as far as Browns content. He needs no introductions. My man, Quincy Carrier of all, you know what it is, man. Just tell him what he
How you doing, man? Nice to be on your channel. Is this first time I've been on? G?
Yeah, this is the first
on your show on the radio. I don't think I've been on the channel.
Yeah, man, you had me on your channel before. I think you've been on the radio, so we got people that really appreciate the tag team collabo, and so we'll just try to give them what they deserve, 2021 style. Now listen, we 2 days. We're 2 days in this thing, right? 2 days away from the draft, and you probably kind of like me. You've kind of regurgitated some of these things over and over again. You've kind of gone over. You're like, I don't know how many more ways I could say this creatively or entertainingly, but I'm gonna just give you what I got on this. I'm not gonna come at that angle. Let me start with something like this. What player could the Browns draft that you would be disappointed and you would come onto your podcast, come onto your channel and be like, yo, I don't even know what they was doing?
I got a couple.
Okay.
Gregory, I always mispronounce his last name. I don't have a great grasp on how to pronounce it, but Gregory Rousseau out of Miami is a guy I don't believe in. He is somebody who is the height of somebody you would want to be like a 3-tech a 3-tech, but he doesn't have the size. And look, he might have bulked up, but if you watch his tape, his ball get off is negative. He has no explosiveness in those knees. I joke around when I say this, but like I'm dead serious. Like it's like what you ever watch a basketball power forward like mess around and do football stuff, and you start to realize like they're different athletes, right? Like the explosiveness is a little bit different for a dude like Miles than it is for like a NBA athlete. And it's like watching that, like you just see them. He has Designer Jop used to have like really slow feet, or Sergei Karasav, or Zydrunas Ilgauskas is the egregious. I'm not going to say he got Zydrunas Ilgauskas feet.
Any of the Zellers, all the Zellers.
Yeah,
you're not him and Zeller, you got them feet.
You don't, like with offensive linemen and defensive linemen, you don't want to feel their feet, right? Like if you feel their feet when you watch them and you are tired for them when you're watching their feet, that's not like something that normally works out in the pros. Now he can get weight, maybe he gets bigger. I just don't think he's quick. I just don't know what his fit is in the NBA. I mean, not NBA, in the NFL. And also he's big. And look, being tall can have his advantages in football, obviously. But in the line of scrimmage, you got to have other things to get away with being 6'6", 6'7", because that's a big target now, right? Like Peyton Turner gets away with being that big because he has quick hands. He's explosive. He has like good bend and burst. Greg just don't got that. And I just worry about how all that stuff is going to transfer to the NFL. I mean, and also he didn't have any tape from this year. He's an opt-out guy, and I'm not shaming nobody for opting out, but like what I saw is what I saw out of him, right? And if he wanted to get weight and say that he could play at a different weight and everything, like, he's not in the opportunity to play in the Senior Bowl. So like what I saw is what I saw, and what I saw was like, ooh, that's like 4th round tape, you know? So I would not understand taking him at 26. I don't get it. It doesn't seem like an Andrew Berry pick to me. Like he's somebody who I just don't see. Who else is in there? Micah Parsons is not somebody I'm particularly high on, but I don't think that's going to be an option.
Good. I haven't heard this one. Micah Parsons. This is another guy. He's a guy. Penn State. He's an opt-out guy. Didn't play this year. What in Micah Parsons' game don't you necessarily like?
See, the thing with Micah Parsons as a prospect is that remember Isaiah Simmons last year, right? Where like everybody got wrapped up in what Isaiah Simmons could be, and everybody who talked to about Isaiah Simmons had this ideal of what Isaiah Simmons was going to do, right? You talk to 5 different people about Isaiah Simmons. He's playing 5 different positions, right? He's a stand-up linebacker. He's a safety. Some people, you can put him at pass rusher. You can put him at, some people talk about putting him at tackle, outside linebacker in a 4-3 in the top 10 for Isaiah. And it was just, it gets ridiculous, right? To where it's like, he ain't going to do all these things in the NFL. What did he do in college? Well, okay, he's a linebacker. He's going to play linebacker in the league. And then, you know, that's what you have to value him at. Micah Parsons is like a similar case to that because he's so big and athletic and talented that you think, oh, you could put him at edge or you can put him back here. Some people get this idea that you could put him like at safety. I don't get that one at all. But, you know,
that whole thought process stopped. I mean, if corners aren't playing safety, like you can't just put anybody at safety in space, man. Quit it. Stop playing.
And also, you can't just put a big dude on the defensive line and say he's going to rush the quarterback. Like that is a specific skill set. Like Myles Garrett is freakishly talented and as athletic as you can get. It took him 2 years to really get his like technique down to where he became a sack master. Micah Parsons ain't just going to learn defensive end in the NFL and become a sack master. While playing all these other positions, y'all say Micah Parsons can play. Now, the issue with Micah Parsons is that, look, he's a great athlete. He can run. He can do all those things. But so is Zaven Collins, and Zaven Collins can see the field better. He attacks the field better. And look, when it comes to linebackers, it's great to be fast. It's great to be big. But can you process as fast as you can run? Can you hit as big as you are? Those are 2 question marks I have about Micah Parsons. Like, he's big. He's strong. He's big. He's strong on paper. He's tall, but like he don't really look it when you watch it on tape because he has to hesitate. And when you watch the Penn State tape, he holds the B gap a lot, right? Like, they don't really trust him to do anything but hold that B gap real tight. And you know, when you talk about drafting a linebacker like they are in the top 10, I think I need to be a little bit more developed than that, you know? And with him, it's like, if you do draft him, he is a linebacker. What is the use? Like, he's probably somebody you bring in on a blitz package, an extra guy on a blitz package. That guy probably goes in the 2nd round or like late 1st. But since he does have all that extra ability, a coach is going to talk themselves into, I can teach him how to play football a little bit better. And maybe he does turn out, right? He does have the tool set and everything. It's just for where people are talking about Micah Parsons going, I don't agree with that assessment at all.
I think when you draft a guy like him, one of the things that you have to also look and you have to mirror, if you have to mirror the creativity of your coordinator with the pick that you're taking. If you're going to take Micah Parsons or you're going to take Isaiah Simmons, you know, you have to look at what they do. And you also have to be creative enough to actually say, all right, well, look, this guy is a tweener. He really doesn't have that much tape as an outside linebacker. He doesn't have that much tape just putting his hand in the dirt being a rusher. He doesn't have some of these things. So what am I going to do to get him some mismatches? What am I going to do to run some games with him? Can I run some stunts? Do I got a package for him? Do I have some things that I'm going to run specifically for him that showcase his talent, and while I try to develop some of the other things when I'm back in? And if you're just a traditional bread and butter 4-3 vanilla team that's just going to line up in base and run your stuff, you might have trouble with guys like that, right? And then you're drafting a guy as an outside linebacker who may not have an opportunity to be a 3-down player. So I can see that, especially on some teams' boards. I'm a little higher on Micah Parsons, just for the simple fact that I think if you can get him into some of those positions, it all depends on when you take him. Would I take him in the top 5? No. Would I take him in the top 10? I'm a little shaky on that. If I'm taking top 10 guys, I need Ray Lewis or something like that. So moving forward, let's talk about it on the other side of the football. I think if you bring up Micah Parsons, you bring up a guy on the opposite side of the football. You talk about the tight end from Florida, and just raises the same thing for me on the opposite side of the football. When you talk about taking a tight end at 4, and you talking about you better be spot shadowing him like Kelsey. He better be getting all the snaps, and you're okay with him not blocking anybody. I think that's something big time that you got to look at it. What are your thought processes on taking certain positions? We talked about linebacker in the top 10. What are your thought processes about even talking about tight end in the top 5 that we're hearing the Atlanta Falcons might do.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my video cut out there for a second. But as far as like Kyle Pitts go, like, look, I'm fully on that Kyle Pitts program. I think Kyle Pitts is more of a, like, he is a tight end, yeah, and you can play him at tight end. But I think there are teams out there, like, let's say, and let's just get hypothetical here. A team like Baltimore gets their hands on Kyle Pitts. He's worth whatever pick Baltimore wants to take him at, right? And a couple of picks they gave up, right? Because they run an offense that, one, Lamar likes throwing to his tight ends more. He likes throwing to his wide receivers. Like, that's one of the things that why those wide receivers don't get production is, one, the Greg Roman offense favors those tight ends, and also Lamar favors those tight ends, right? Even going back to Louisville, he loved his tight ends. Another thing with Kyle Pitts is that if you're a team that maybe you don't have great depth at wide receiver, right? So you, like, the Browns probably wouldn't be able to do much with Kyle Pitts because you already have Odell you're going to have on the X. You already have, you know, your Z and Jarvis, and you know, you're trying to work Rashard, who just came back at the Y. So you don't have a lot of room for flexibility and creativity when it comes to your tight end. But you're like a wide receiver needy team like Baltimore, you know, you can put Kyle Pitts out there, Dax. Like, you can see what happens. You know, Jimmy Graham the thing. And then now, instead of Kyle Pitts just the tight end, you're talking about Kyle Pitts football receiver, right? However you want to categorize him.
He's a weapon of choice. He's not a tight end.
He's the dude we throw the most balls to. That's Kyle Pitts. That's what he will be in your offense. So if you have an offense that has a need there, like, I know I like my guy Vach. Vach loves him. He wants him to go to the Cowboys. There's way too many people on the wide receivers on the Cowboys for Kyle Pitts to be able to do his thing. But, you know, if he goes to a team that maybe they don't have a ton of great wide receivers, maybe they're lacking a lot of height at wide receiver, you know, Baltimore is the perfect fit. So, you know, I just hope he doesn't fall, like something silly doesn't happen where he falls past 12 and then Baltimore can swoop in with them 2 first-round picks and take him. Because, ladies and gentlemen, that's a problem. If he goes to Cincinnati, that might also be a problem, right? Because they need dudes who can block and to just get out there and catch the ball and run. And they don't got that right now. So I would hope that they don't keep doing that, but it don't look like they're going to go with him at 5. But yeah, I'm on the Kyle Pitts program. I like Kyle Pitts. He's just an interesting case of how you use him. And, you know, if he would have just did the, what was the guy's name? Devin Funches out of Michigan, where he just said, I'm a wide receiver.
I'm a receiver now.
I play wide receiver, even though I'm going to get moved back to tight end when I get on the roster, right?
You messed yourself up, Funches. You should have just stayed at tight end and been a weapon.
Yeah, see? But, you know, it's interesting with him. He is an excellent player. Devonta Smith is probably like the best pure wide receiver in this draft, in my opinion. I know a lot of people say Jamar Chase. I think Devonta Smith, like, if you have issues with if you have issues with Devonta Smith's like injury ability, he played 47 games in the SEC, didn't get hurt. It's hard to play 47 games of football, period. I don't care who you playing and not get hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
I did 2 radio shows and I'm hurt. I was hurt the next week.
I played a game of pickup basketball and I hyperextended my knee. Like, for some people, these injuries just happen at a higher rate than other people. And for Devonta Smith, like, he played almost 50 games in the SEC, has not gotten hurt. Has gotten hurt less than the other 2 wide receivers that are being compared to him, especially Jalen Waddle and also, you know, Jamar Chase. And even though he's played in more games, like, at some point you have to acknowledge that these injury questions about Devonta Smith are kind of just like crazy, really hypothetical. Like, they're just hypothetical if people are treating them as if this dude's coming back from an ACL.
He's the guy for me, and I'm gonna ask you this question. He's the guy for me. If the Cleveland, like, say for instance, there's always a team where there's in the back of your head, you have your board, you have your situation that you're looking at. All right, we got these guys slotted. We have our dream scenario. Like, what do you mean this guy fell? For what reason? If you have somebody that's on your board, if Devonta Smith falls for whatever reason, he's the guy for me that I run and I'm like, hey, can I just run up there and give my picks? How many trades do I need to do to get up there to take him at what position? Because he fell below this certain threshold. He's that guy for me. Like, to me, he just has like this sneaky game speed. He's always running away from people. He just is always open. His route running ability is crazy. And like you said, I just don't think if you play in the SEC and you can get that off and you're not injured in the SEC, we'll take your word for it. What is one guy on your board for the Browns before we get to, we'll wrap it up, before we get to asking you who they take? Who's one guy on the board that if they slip, fall, and they can't get up, in the words of DMX, who are you going to run up there with your pick and say, hey, I wasn't going to plan on picking him, but I sure as hell am picking him now?
Wouldn't plan on picking
Like,
now
you
that
didn't think
those
they
are,
were going to be
I was
there.
say, because I have like three different packets. I have two different packets of players. I have my three guys that I'm like, oh, they slip past 15, you might want to move up and
You're
secure
right.
one of these dudes. And I have my three guys like, you just sitting at 26. Hey, you take one of these guys, you'll be fine. But if a dude slips that the Browns are not expecting to slip, let me think. What Devonta Smith would be on that list. I can see the argument for Jalen Waddle, right? Because he is like a burner and they needed a burner. But, you know, if you're going to take the injury risk on him, you might as well just stick it out with Odell. So I wouldn't be like super excited about it. I don't know where JC Horn is on everybody's board. Because he's somebody who, you know, like it's like Darrelle Revis, right? In 2007, where he tested well, he just jumped Leon Hall in that draft and became like the number one cornerback, but nobody was giving him that number one cornerback hype. He's one of my trade up guys. If you see him past 15, trade up for him. But like JC Horn would be somebody that I feel like is a good fit right there. You just need to take. And then Jalen Phillips is another one. Like I have no idea where everybody's at with him because of his medical, right? Like if he played, like if he had the year he had in Miami 2 times and never had that medical question, he would be one of those dudes because he'd probably be like a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
But since he got that medical question and since he doesn't really have a ton of tape out there, it becomes questionable. So this draft, it's really hard to do that because like the only guys I could think of that would be like absolute steals if they slip are one of the offensive tackles, Rashad Slater or Penei Sewell. And the Browns just, they're not in the market to trade up for an offensive tackle. Like I don't care how much they like them. Like, you know, you're just not there.
It's just not going to work out for you. It's not a thing. Like, I don't think they're going to draft a tackle. I don't think they're going to draft a running back or a quarterback. So for me, it would be Devonta Smith. I don't know if the kid Farley, man, I don't know his medical. I don't know about his medical either. He sat out this year. He's another guy that sat out a little bit. I would have to be okay with his medical, but we'd have to definitely take a look at him. I'm with you on Phillips. You know, he's another guy that I just love his versatility. He's not a sheer pass rusher. Like his get off. I like the way he uses his hands. I like his size. I think he could put on like 5 more pounds and he looked like he could rush from inside. I like him a lot. I don't know what the Browns want to move with that, but I wouldn't be I would be excited if they say, oh, Devonta Smith, he's at after 15. I don't know why he would be after 15, but I would take him after 15. So now
we'll figure that one out.
Yo,
it would be very awkward for Jarvis because there is no question on who he would be replacing in the offense in a year.
It would be kind of like, that's kind of scary. They was like, hey, you know, you guys got an opportunity to play with your best friend for like 2 years. You would definitely know somebody was leaving then.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jarvis because Jarvis would probably be like, you know, I'm a mentor to young fella, do my thing. He'd be like, let me show you how to run these routes. And Devonta Smith would be like, what routes I need to learn how to run?
Straight. That's what I do in a hurry. Let's get it done. You know, speaking of straight, we almost up out of here. I appreciate you for your time, man. You know, you got about 17 more shows to do. Let's get to your pick, man. So you know, on the clock when the Browns get to their pick, who is it? Why, what, when, where, how, and why do you believe the Browns take who they take at 26? Is it a move up? Is it a move down, or they just stay pat? What's your thought process on the whole situation in 2021?
All right, so I kind of teased this earlier. I'm going to reveal my 2 packets. I got the 3 pack. I got the 3-pack right here for the trade up. I have the 3-pack at 26. And obviously, if one of my trade up guys are there at 26, you have to obviously consider it at 26.
He got 3 tests: the pink test, the blue test. Remember that he started handing out different color tests in college. They'll be like, "Nah, I ain't cheating off nobody." 3 different tests. Go ahead, my man.
Yes, sir. So my first 3 players in that packet of players, like, hey, if they get past 15, you might want to get to 18 to make sure you get one of them. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame, my favorite linebacker, my favorite football player in this class. He has a video, like a tape, where he just steals the football from somebody and then just scores. It just took it to the house. And you have to
did it against
that.
Clemson too.
Yeah, it was against Clemson. It was wild watching he's a very, very good football player.
That's
like he's
crazy.
one of those.
That's my pick too. I think that's who the Browns are going to take. Yeah.
I mean, and if he falls to you at 26, man, you got to see it. You got to take that one. J.C. Horn also, if you think you can get him at 18 or 16, you got to go for him. I like him a lot. Jalen Phillips is somebody I would put in that first packet of players because I feel like he should go around that area and that he won't be there at 26. And then look, if you're not trying to make anything shake, you're not trying to make anything overpowered, I guess, or trade up. Even though they could use to get rid of some of these picks. At 26, you got Greg Newsome. I like Greg Newsome. You could take him there. Kwity Paye would probably be my last guy of all 6 of these dudes because like he can run defend really well. I just don't really see like the necessary need. And like if you're already down to Kwity Paye, hey, I think you can also get away with like a Peyton Turner in the second round if you really wanted to.
His arms are kind of short too. I just feel like he can't transit. I like his motor though. I love the way he plays.
He has a motor, and he's very like refined. He has good technique as far as the run game goes, which tells me that he's very coachable. Another guy along the lines, he's like the pass rushing version of Kwity Paye, Azeez Ojulari, who this man's a boxer. I don't know if you watched him or his tape at Georgia, especially his game versus that poor man at Cincinnati that tried to block him. But yeah, he's a boxer. He has like one move, a pass rush move, where it's his long arms, slap with the offhand, get to the quarterback. But he has mastered that move. And again, that shows me that he's coachable. He can learn another move, maybe 2 more moves eventually in his NFL career. And if he gets those 2 moves together, he's explosive and athletic enough that he'll be a real problem. Like when he gets that all together, when he's really able to kind of disrupt a tackle, especially when he's longer than a tackle and he's really able to get that jab in with his first hand, that's where he can get really disruptive and really mess with people's day. And when you on the opposite side of Myles Garrett, you're going to have some pristine opportunities to be able to do that. They can match you up with the tackle. They ain't really got the great length out there if there is one out there. So Azeez Ojulari, he's probably the pass rush. Like if Azeez is out there at 26, I would probably be like, go for Azeez over all of these guys. I like Greg Newsome, has some injury issues, but you think maybe you can get a Caleb Farley back there, or maybe he falls because of the back to the second round like Greedy Williams did. Or you can probably, if you really want to, you can gamble on a Kelvin Joseph, who, hey, you don't know what that's going to be. That might be a Marcus Peters, but, also he could be Marcus Peters. Like,
that's the thing, right?
It goes both ways because Marcus Peters is still very much Marcus Peters, but on the field, he's Marcus Peters. So, you might be going for one of those scenarios. I just think the DB depth is much greater than the edge rush depth. And if you want to get somebody who could be a starting edge rusher, Azeez is probably the last guy. Well, there's 2 guys in this class I feel comfortable saying that they could probably start and play, Azeez and Jalen Phillips. But that's just where I'm at with this class.
I agree on a lot of them. The Koramoah, the kid from Notre Dame. I just watched his tape, and I just think it fits in what the Browns are doing. They've gotten better and more athletic in every single position. They've moved and slot down. They've moved it down.
With him too, I'm at this interesting crossroads with him because like the interesting thing with him and the Browns, right? For what the Browns ask their linebackers to do, he does extremely well, and he's very versatile. And we know how they've been prioritizing versatility in this defense. But also, there's a question that you have to ask yourself, which is, do the Browns need somebody who is that good at what he does at that position to fill that role, because they kind of got away with BJ Goodson and Malcolm Smith for the bulk of the year, which makes you question, like, and no disrespect to Malcolm Smith or BJ Goodson, but we know at this point they're not all pro caliber players or going to be making all NFL teams. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I think he does have that in his future. It's just he does everything the Browns ask him to very well. It's just how much is that going to be able to affect on the field when I don't know if the Browns really rely on that defensively, a linebacker to really do that much. And that's where that answers that gets answered. My bad, I'm stumbling a little bit, I'm tired. That gets answered by the people in the building who know the answer to that. I have no idea. I'm just trying to guess from what I see, but it's interesting. And that's why the draft always shakes out much differently than what people anticipate every year.
Amen. We'll leave it at that. And I appreciate you so much for coming on. And tell people where they can catch your stuff out, your material, man, and where they can follow you on Twitter. And because you dropping videos pretty much every single day. Like, you was dropping them like every day during the season, dog. So you definitely on your grind, still doing that. So where can we find you, my G?
Yeah, every weekday Browns coverage. This week during the draft, I'm doing double days up until the draft, so 2 videos a day. So make sure you subscribe for that. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Quincy Carrier. You can put my full name, Quincy. I know people like to put an E in there for whatever reason, and Carrier. I am not the former Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Quincy Carter. Some people think that. I don't know why.
I feel like, yo, this ain't me. Obviously, we look a little different. We don't, you know what I'm saying?
He's got inches on me. He's got inches, an NFL career, and a lot of other. Yeah. I am not him, right? I don't think Quincy Carter got a Patreon. I don't think that's how he rolling at this point. But Quincy Carrier, Carrier. Put me in there. You'll probably see one of my videos pop up. Click on it, see if you like it. And if you like it, subscribe to it. Also, you can find me on Twitter, where I am roasting people who think Mac Jones is a top 5 quarterback. Now, if that age is like milk, I'll die on that hill. I'll die on the Mac Jones is not a top 5 quarterback hill. But man, I don't know why people think that this dude is going to be a top 5 quarter. I saw a jersey swap for Mac Jones, and that reminded me about how bad it is to be where some teams are with the quarterback position, where they're just hoping. And pockets. Mac Jones,
I don't know who he paid off. I'm confused. I never watched the tape. I've never watched the game at one point in time, at any point in time in Alabama during the year.
Yeah, you never were like, man, Mac Jones out here balling. Like, that's not ever.
Mac Jones is that truth. No.
Yeah, Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle have never left the game, and you've been like, hey, you can't be sleeping on Mac Jones out there.
Like, it was never like I'm like, okay, you had Jalen Hurts, Tua. It was never like, oh, we got Mac Jones up next. You don't even know. We got the next. No, it wasn't like that. And I'm just confused. Kyle Shanahan, if this does not work, trust me, you get a coordinator position, but trust me, do not put all your eggs in this one. Please. You got a couple hours to make a difference. Please.
Can you imagine Nick Saban on the sideline at Alabama? Like, hey, guys, it's okay. We got Mac Jones. No, and when you got Mac Jones, apparently, look, Mac Jones, by the way, did not win the Heisman on a team that had a Heisman winner on the offense. Dude won the Heisman, was a wide receiver, which tells you when everybody was watching this and not think about draft position, they were like, wow, Devonta Smith is making Mac Jones look really good, but that has flipped. Mac Jones might go in the top 5, and Devonta Smith might fall to the Patriots.
I don't understand. Is it his play action game? Was it like, is it like he's going to be a top 3 pick and his Madden rating is going to be a 74.5.
That's better than I would give him. I don't understand it. And look, Mac Jones might turn out to, do the whole Kirk Cousins thing where he's like average in college and, he turns out to be a decent pro, like a better than average pro. Like, he could absolutely do that. But the ideal, just as a prospect, right? We're just looking at this from the draft, right? Okay, he's a prospect. He's not a better prospect than Trey Lance. You can say that he has better tape than Trey Lance, but I would say, look, Trey Lance got a level of competition issue, right? I went to Youngstown State. He played at North Dakota State. North Dakota State, much better than everybody else in that division, right? But he plays at Alabama. In Alabama, much better than everybody.
They got a starting
level.
line. They
Right.
got 2 top 10, 2 top 20 receivers. They got
2 linemen going in the first round. Najee Harris, who might go in the first round. 3 wide receivers. 2 drafts where they've had more than 1 wide receiver get drafted in the top 15 of the NFL draft, by the way. Alabama, much better. And this got proved. Ohio State was a good team last year. Alabama just beat them down like they didn't belong there. Like Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith, by the way, owes Sean Wade money because he stole all of it from him in that national championship game. It was disgusting. I was like, oh, there was one play where Ohio State had the audacity to put the safety on the other side of the field to say, Sean, you got him. Press up on Devonta Smith. And Devonta just got rid of him so fast. It was like Sean Wade was never there. He might as well have not been there because Devonta was wide open. And look, I'm not trying to disparage Sean Wade. I don't think it's fair what Ohio State's defensive coordinators did to him. I feel like they should have known better.
He should have opted out that first.
He should have opted out. He should have remained, but he did the right thing, came back. He came back for the team, GBUSH. And this is what they did to him. They did him dirty. This is why when people are like, you got to do it for the team, no, sometimes you don't. Because Sean Wade came back
for the squad.
To put him one-on-one with Devonta Smith.
For the squad.
That is not fair. That was not fair to Sean. Give that man safety help. That man just won the Heisman from the wide receiver position. But my camera's cutting out.
Hey, it's all love. It's all love. You just turned into Drake right there. Like this is like I'm like this is. Listen, we got Drake from Degrassi. No, this is Quincy. This is Quincy Carrier, man.
That's my picture from my college ID from my freshman year.
Hey, man, you was doing it up big, man. You was doing it up big. You had the high top. We gonna let you go, man. I'll tell you what, man. Make sure you check out the blog, man. Our best conversations is like the conversations not talking about the stuff. It's just the other stuff, man. As always, man, shout out to everybody. Salute. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel at GBUSH91. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.